Okay, so this is just a quick video for myself on how to do Cisco router iOS password recovery using Minicom on Linux. And this is because I just had a situation happen at work a couple days back where a router was shipped out and nobody could get into the damn thing because the wrong configuration was placed onto the box. So we ended up having to do a password recovery. I wasn't actually sitting in on the process, so in case that happens again, this is kind of my go-to quick how do I remind myself how to do this kind of dealio. Generally, I use Screen, right, for serial connections, but I'm going to use Minicom in this just because I could not remember. I don't know. I just can't get a break sequence to shoot over a serial line with just URXVT, hotkeys, and I don't feel like screwing around with Screen's 1,000,001 variable and keybind combinations. Although over the long term, I do think Screen will be the way to go. But for now, I'm just going to use Minicom. So generally Minicom seems to like to run as root, but is what it is. Minicom-S will run through setup. I went to serial port setup, set my serial device dev T2Y USB 0. That's what's detected by dmessage from my particular USB adapter to serial. I don't care about /var run, a log file, running as root. It'll have access, no problem. Bits per second, 9600 baud rate, 8 bits. Yes, hardware, flow control, soft, flow control, no. And that's fine the way it is, so it works for me. That's not the default. Change it to that, works great. Escape, I also save that as the default, so that way I don't have to ever run through this again if I'm just connecting to iOS devices. So, plain old Minicom. Alright, this is the base. There's my connection. Life is good. So, yeah, password recovery. I'm just going to throw a little bit of config on here to make it look like we're actually using the box like it's ultra important. Let's see here, interface, fast Ethernet 01. We have 99 already, let's do 100. Just a normal /24. No shut, turn that bad boy on, write my configuration. This probably takes 30 seconds ballpark, hopefully less. Oh, come on. Well, regardless, I know that port's up, syslog, save the day, right? Come on, you beast. This is an ancient router. It's not new. Flash is crazy old, so any I/O activity on the Flash, it just takes a really long time. Luckily, iOS runs in RAM, right? Anyway, so CompT. Let's see here. Enable secret so that I can't read it. Just some crazy password that I'm not even gonna remember. Make it extra long. Yeah, why not? And then let's go a step further and lock myself out of the console. We'll do password, something weird like that, and then we'll set it to login. Build that or write that configuration out again. So crazy secret password for enable, and then a crazy password for the console port. So here's once it builds this config. I'm actually at enable now, so I won't be locked out. I'm going to exit though, go back to the console interface, hit enter. Scroll all the output off my screen so I can't even read it. Cannot get into this bad boy whatsoever. So I'm effectively locked out. The goal, restart this guy, break into ROMMON mode by throwing in a break sequence with Minicom and then setting my configuration registers. I really should have recorded that, but I did not. So just because I think I remember them, I'm just going to write them down real quick. Just throw them in Vim real quick. I think it's 0x 2102 baseline and then 2142 to ignore start config. Give that a shot, see what happens. Yeah, I mean, I can't do anything, so I'm just going to physically power off this router to start the boot sequence. All right, router's turned off, hit enter a few times. I can't do anything. Turn that router back on. The good old speediness. Anyway, so break sequence. Control A, capital Z, and then F is the break key. F, sending break. I'm going to do it a couple times because, yeah, there we go. I'm not sure when during this boot sequence exactly I can hit that command and that it works. But I did it a few times and we're at ROMMON mode, so I guess we're good to go. All right, so we need to change the configuration register to a register that will ignore the startup config, therefore bypassing any passwords we previously configured. So I recorded 2102. I'm pretty sure that'll work. If not, I'm about to break my device. That'll be a video for another day. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and set, I think it's conf reg, but I want to see if I can find the help here. It is conf reg. Conf reg. ROMMON is very limited, no tab completion of any kind. Let's say 0x2142. What did I do? Oh my gosh, ROMMON. Conf reg 0x2142. There we go. Perfect. All right. So the configuration register, this thing is static. It'll be like this until we change it back. So reset, I do believe, is the command in ROMMON mode to restart the box. There we go. There's the bootstrap. It'll search for iOS, we'll load that guy into memory, and we'll be on our way. A big note, something that I noticed and something that really should be kept in mind is this 2142 configuration register. It bypasses, I do believe, the startup configuration on iOS. So on that note, you load into iOS finally, you have this blank configuration. So you shoot over to enable mode and config mode and you change your passwords back to something normal, hopefully not Cisco, and then you think you're good to go. Don't make that mistake. Don't do a copy run start. Do not write to memory. Because what you'll be doing is writing this blank configuration to your flash. So you'll have erased your running configuration or your start configuration that you actually used. So if you didn't have a backup, congratulations, you just wrecked it. If you're like me who got bit by it once already, I definitely recommend as soon as you log into iOS, do a copy start run. This will run your copy configuration. It'll copy your startup configuration, throw it into running memory, so you'll have a working configuration. Once you load that up, then change your passwords, and then write that guy to flash. Well, not even to flash, NVRAM, whatever. But then write that guy to flash. So load up, copy your stuff over to running, change your stuff, and then write. I'm going to go ahead and pause this and wait till it gets to iOS because this is taking forever. All right, not totally loaded up yet, but close enough. Cisco iOS software C2600 IP base K9. Really, I have K9 on here? I don't think it's registered. No way. I don't want to do sysconfiguration. I really don't. Come on, you beast. There it is. Blank configuration, just says router. But actually, since it mentioned it, I can't do a show license. Show license. Wow, is this really that old? Anyway, so yeah, blank configuration. I got to enable mode uncontested. So, remember I set some IP addresses. I mean, it really is blank. Everything's down. There's nothing assigned on these interfaces, etc. So like I was saying, you want to copy your start up config to your running config, just to load your original configuration so you don't lose it. There it is. Now we're back to my router. I have some configuration on my interfaces, for instance. Life is good. So now that I bypassed my previous password, because good Lord, who knows what that password is. Should run enable just to see what that thing was. Actually, it's hashed. So no way I'm typing that in. If that would even work anyway. So conft enable. Yeah. Enable secret. We'll just say Cisco because I'm a terrible person. Don't forget, we also changed the console password. Actually, I'm just going to say no login because I don't feel like doing that right now. No password, no login, because who wants to do that? We'll write this configuration. So we took our starting config, moved it to our running, changed the passwords that we wanted to, and then wrote it back to startup config. I probably should have checked my configuration first to make sure it was what I thought it was. I'm going to do that now. So I enable secret Cisco. I should say that hash be much shorter. That's not much shorter at all. Bottom here, all my password and login commands are gone from my console line, so don't have to worry about that ever again. Something to note, I do have to change the configuration register back to the original value. I'll do a shover I reg. There it is. So this is where we are. We need to go back to the original, which I do believe is 2102. If it was not, we're going to be in for some good times. So back to configuration mode. The command is config-register and then the value you want to set, 0x2102 in my case. Enter. I hope that's the right one. I'm going to write that guy to running config. Now that will not take effect until I restart the router. Well, I changed that statement actually. I do believe the configuration register will change, but that configuration register doesn't actually do anything unless you're going through the boot process. So let's actually check, because I actually, yeah, it does say right there, we're at 2142. It will be 2102 at next reload. So let's do that now. So right now it should load up as normal. I should have a enable password of Cisco, and we'll see what happens. Confirm that reload. You got it. There's my bootstrap. This takes a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and pause and wait for me to come back at the prompt. Little update. We're self-decompressing the image. Oh my god. Okay, we rebooted. I'm back in my prompt. Big thing to note, it looks like everything loaded up okay. Just noting this that it has my original configuration hostname, my dash router, enable Cisco, hopefully. Actually, I typed that wrong. Looks like it worked. So that's a good sign. The only other thing I want to check is make sure that configuration register is set back to what I originally had it set to. Was it reg? Should work. 2102. All right, looks good to me. That's it in a nutshell. Really biggest note to myself is, and anybody I suppose, when you boot up into 2142 or whichever recovery register you're using, copy that startup to your running and then change it from there. Additionally, I want to set up a break sequence through screen so I don't have to rely on Minicom, but Minicom works just as well.